So here we are in the Cloud9 environment running on the Beagelbone. And so we're going to run some basic networking test commands here. And now if you're Cloud9, if you don't have Cloud9 installed, you can do this through an SSH connection to get shell access also. But here I'm in my bash shell, and bash is kind of an acronym for born again shell. It's just one of the many different shells that are available on Linux systems. But this allows us to just run a lot of different commands. And so the first command I want to run is the ifconfig command. So if I type if, this stands for interface, as our network interface, and then config. And so when I type that in, it gives me my configuration. And so you'll notice here I have my Ethernet card, ETH0, and then I have my local loopback. All Ethernet cards will have a local loopback that'll have an IP address of 127.0.0.1, and then USB 0 and a USB 1. And so what they do is they set up this, we've used this, right? The IP address is 192.168.7.2. That is that private network through the USB cable that is powering my Beagelbone. And they also, for some reason, set up a second one, which is 192.168.6.2, which is also through that. And but you see right here, like, I do not have an address for the Ethernet. So this means that I can't actually connect to the internet right now. So I have some kind of networking issue, which actually in my case, I've got the cable unplugged. So I'm going to plug in the cable. Okay. And this particular Beagelbone is set up for DHCP, so it should gain an address. So if I rerun this command, it should pull up an address. Now the problem is that the ETH is way up at the top and we can't quite see it. So what you can do is you can use a command called the grep command, and this is kind of a funny word. It's actually an acronym, but I think of it as the grab command, and I want to grab inet. So if you notice these, right, each one of these are kind of listed with an inet. And so I'm going to grep on inet. So any line containing inet will show up. And so now you see the first one that showed up here is this 192.168.2.140. So that is my Ethernet. And so if I just run that without that, again, Ethernet's way at the top, but we can see that now I do have an address. Okay, so in the classroom, we'll have like a 10.101 number for a valid number. If you see this number as a 169, then it's not a valid IP address. It has to, in the classroom, it should be a 10.101.201, and then whatever the number is. But here I'm running this, I'm not in the classroom right now, so as I run this, this is my private network here. And so that's giving me an Ethernet address so that I can actually get to say the internet, or now, or at least the local network. This isn't showing the route, so there's a separate command called route that you can run, which will show you the route, and you should see there's a default gateway. Okay, so you see under here is gateway, and I have a default gateway to get me to that route. Another thing we could do is we could try to ping another computer. So if I wanted to ping, I could type ping and then type the address of, say, my default gateway and see if I can ping that, 168.2.1. And when I do that, you see that I'm not permitted to do that because I'm logged in as this Debian user. So this is where that sudo command comes in. We can type in sudo ping 192.168.2.1, and then it'll ask me for the password, and the default password is, if you haven't changed it, is TEMPPWD, temp password. And then when you run that, then you can see that it's pinging, and we're getting a response. In this case, the response is, less than half a millisecond, right? So it's very quick. Well, the router is just, not very far away, so it's very quick response. On the other hand, if I tried to ping something else like this 2.2, it's unreachable. Okay, so that, if there was a computer on the network with that IP, then that computer is turned off. Okay, or in my case, I just don't even have one on the network with that particular IP. So these are just some basic networking testing that we can do. You could also, if you wanted to test your ping, is you could ping something like Yahoo, www.yahoo.com, and this will tell you that your gateway is working, your DNS is working, because notice here, I told it to go to yahoo.com because I have no idea what their IP address is. But when I do this, then it comes back and it says, oh, look here, I found this particular one with this address. And then it's like, oh, let me ping that, and yes, I can ping it. Now in the classroom, they actually deny pings from going through like this. So what you will see in the classroom is you'll probably see, destination unreachable. However, it still will tell you what the IP is it's trying to send the ping to, which tells you that your gateway is working and your DNS is working. So even though the ping itself is denied and fails, by just the fact that it will return and give you an IP address to match the name that you typed in, tells you that your router is working, your gateway out to the internet is working, and you're actually your DNS configuration is also working. So even though the ping itself fails, you still get some information about how your network is actually working.